Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the fifth video of my A6M2 Zero Type21 build from Eduard in 1:48 scale. In the first episode I built a 3D printed cockpit and the kit cockpit. The second video was about the 3D printed engine and the kit engine. In the third episode, my favorite part of the aircraft was the 3D printed tailwheel section. The fourth video was the 3D printed gun base. This time I'm going to show step by step how I build the landing flaps PE upgrade set. Eduard offers two options if you want to make the flaps on the Zero. The cheaper and probably easier option is a combination of 3D printed parts and PE parts. Another option is a full PE landing flaps. This option is more expensive and it needs more work to build. I chose the full PE version. I think this version is more realistic. To build PE flaps we need a couple of tools. One tool is compulsory, a photo edge bending tool. Without this tool, bending a long, straight, sharp line is almost impossible. The rest of the tools are average tools, nothing special. Tweezers, hobby knife and super glue. The first step is preparation. The wings has to be modified for the PE flaps and the PE parts have to be cut off. I use the razor saw to cut out the flaps from the wings. Every time I cut out sections from the Zero's wings, I always realized how delicate these surface details are. As far as I've seen, Eduard makes the best surface detail in 1/72 and 1/48 scale. The instruction clearly shows what area needs to be cut. The panel lines are excellent guidelines and all we have to do is follow the lines with the saw. But be careful and accurate, clean and precise cut lines make our later work the installation trouble-free. For the PE parts I used a brand new blade. I prefer the rounded edge blade for this job. I tried to make the cut as close as I could to the edge of the part because cleaning the excess is not easy. To clean the excess I use diamond-coated files and big flathead tweezers. Be careful, the PE parts are incredibly flimsy, it's very easy to bend them, destroy them. Here comes the first big bend. This bend is unachievable without the proper tool. Place the PE part into the bender, set the edge precisely where we want to bend, and lock the part in it. Then fold the part up with a razor blade. Do it slowly, the key is precision. These tools are not cheap, so a small metal ruler can be an alternative solution. Place the part under the ruler, press it down and bend the part against the edge of the ruler. I tested it with the ruler, but it is surely not easy to make a straight, long and precise bend without this photo edge bender, so I definitely recommend the photo edge bending tool. Seven ribs are running across. The ribs have to be twisted 90 degrees. I use the big flathead tweezers again. It is easier to grab the rib with its bigger flat head. It is important to twist the ribs in the right way. With the smaller flathead tweezers I folded the ribs into their place. I folded all of them and now they were ready for gluing. Be very gentle, use minimal force to bend them because it is easy to break them. For gluing I use super glue. I used a thin wire as an applicator. I like a simple wire because I can bend it and shape it wherever I need to use it. If it's not sharp anymore, I just throw it away and cut a new one. Usually I like 0.3 mm copper wire, but if I need to be more precise I use 0.2 mm copper wire. With this thin wire I could apply as much superglue as I needed in the ribs channel. This technique gave a nice and clean gluing work. I used a minimal amount of debonder to clean the excess glue. Placing the rib into the channel, I used a pointy tweezers. Here comes the second big bend. Again I use the bender tool. As before, I place the PE part into the tool, set the line precisely and bend it with the razor blade. This time we have to twist and bend 9 ribs. I used the same technique as before. The only difference was I used the smaller flathead tweezers. I felt the big one was too clumsy for these thinner ribs. The 9 ribs with its frame ready for bend and glue to the place. It looks more scary than it actually was. I glued the corners first, then the top and the bottom of every single rib. Unfortunately, I don't have video footage for this stage, so please believe me, I did it. In this final stage, I glued all the small parts into the flap structure, small cross and long reinforcements. There are pre-cut channels for the parts. Again, I used a thin wire as a superglue applicator. The Zero used split flaps for its landing flap system. The split flap system is one of the simplest and most straightforward designs. The rear section of the lower surface of the airfoil bends downwards from the leading edge of the wing, while the upper surface remains unchanged, creating additional lift and drag. At full deflection, the split flap acts much like a spoiler, adding significantly to the drag coefficient. It also adds a little to the lift coefficient. Zero's flap system was an essential factor in maintaining control at slower speeds, which is important for carrier operations. The last step of the construction is adding a long cross reinforcement to the leading edge of the flap. After I glued and fixed all the parts, I used a diamond file to clean the edges. Before the cleaning, be sure that all the parts are properly glued and fixed. Now here are the fully constructed flaps. I believe it worth the time and the effort because they look pretty cool. The metal parts were full of fingerprints, so I cleaned the surface with isopropyl alcohol. After the cleaning, I applied Mr. Metal Primer to prepare the surface for painting. I used Mr. Surfacer 1200, which is one of my favorite primers. The primer highlighted the problematic areas, so I fixed all of them before I applied the Otake color and pre-shading. For the Otake color I used Mr. Hobby's H63 metallic blue-green. For pre-shading I used white marble techniques and later highlighted the panel lines and the rivet lines with darker brown color. Finally I added the final color Tamiya Grey-Green XF76 in multiple thin layers. I will describe the whole painting process in one of the upcoming videos. The Zero wasn't the only aircraft that used this flap system. British, German and American designers also used this flap system in their aircraft designs. A perfect example is the British Hawker Hurricane and the Spitfire. The Typhoon and the Tempest had the same system as well. Another famous fighter aircraft designed by Kurt Tank, the Focke-Wulf 190, was also equipped with the split flap systems. The American P-39, P-40 had the same split flap system. So this system was widely used in aircraft design during World War II because it was cheap and easy to build and maintain. And here comes the last step, the installation of the flaps. I dry fitted the parts and thanks to the precise cut during the wings preparation, the flaps fitted perfectly. I used gel superglue for gluing. Gel superglue gave a little bit longer time to set the parts. After the glue set, I folded the flaps to the correct position. It looks pretty good. I'm really happy that I made this upgrade to my Zero. I hope you liked this episode and this mini-series of my Zero build. More videos are coming, so stay tuned. Please hit the like and subscribe with the little bell if you haven't done so yet, and you won't miss any upcoming episodes. I appreciate your support, keep modeling, and see you next time.